Tayong lahat ay may pananagutan sa isa't isa. Tayong lahat ay tinipon ng Diyos na kapiling niya. Wait, this is not my concert. A blessed and peaceful day, everyone. Welcome to RepLEKSYON. Let us discover and learn the lessons of the gospel through a reflection. In our gospel for the 23rd Sunday in the ordinary time, we will be dealing with the gospel of Saint Matthew, chapter 18, verses 15 to 20. Jesus is teaching us practical ways on how to correct our brothers who offended us. When we say practical, it means something doable and useful so we could restore our relationships. As I always say, life is all about relationships. And this is the reason why most of our frustrations and stressors are all about relationship problems because man is a social being. If we are going back and reflect our past experiences and think of situations na nagalit tayo, umiyak tayo, at kung ano-anong emosyon ang naramdaman natin, we will see that most of these experiences are relationship issues. Jesus is teaching us on how to deal with our brothers and sisters who offended us. Number one, talk to him directly. But if it didn't work, proceed to the next step. The next step is take 2 to 3 witnesses with you. And still, if it didn't work, tell it to the church, which means to pray for the person, and if not, treat him as a Gentile and a tax collector. From the Gospel, let us reflect on the 3 big messages of God for us. Number 1, peace always starts in us. Siguro pamilyar na sa atin yung mga linyahang, bakit ako ang kakausap sa kanya? Hindi naman ako ang may kasalanan o may maling nagawa. Hindi naman ako yung nagkamali. Iyan ang karaniwang linyahan kapag tinamaan ng ating mga ego. Yung feeling at pakiramdam natin na malaking kabawasan sa ating pagkatao kapag tayo ang unang gumawa ng hakbang para maibalik sa ayos ang mga nasirang relasyon. Yung tipong sa araw-araw na ginawa ng Diyos kapag ating nakikita at naiisip ang isang taong nakagawa sa atin ng mali o nakasakit sa atin ay masisira na ang buong araw natin. Mas tumitindi pa ang ating pagkainis kapag nakikita natin na ang taong nakagawa sa atin ng mali ay parang masaya at parang wala lang sa kanila ang nangyari. Yung tipong parang wala siyang pakialam sa nararamdaman natin. Remember, students, peace always starts in us. This is the key. If you want a peaceful life, be brave enough to start taking the initial steps to restore that peace that you are longing for due to the offense that you experience from your brother and sisters. There was a memorable story that I always share kapag ganito ang topic na pinag-uusapan. One of my students came into my office to share a story kung paano siya naiinis sa kanyang mga kaklase na dahil tila parang walang pakialam at kanya-kanyang mga grupo. For him, he wants his last school year to be memorable enough. I challenge him back by saying, if you want to achieve that state, you must be willing to take the initiative. He left my office with the hope that he could turn his class as a second real family. During the sharing part in one of our Christmas sessions, I was surprised when this student volunteered himself to share. Hindi ko makakalimutan yung sinabi niya sa kanyang mga kaklase. Sinabi niya ang lahat ng kanyang mga observations. In a way na binanggit niya ang mga bagay na dapat i-improve ng kanilang klase. I was surprised when he ended. Alam ko naman na marami akong pagkakamali in the past. Naging mayabang ako sa paningin ninyo at hindi ko kayo nabigyan ng atensyon at nakapokus sa grupo ko. Pero sana ngayong huling taon natin, bilang magkakaklase, sulitin na natin. at magsimula tayo at matuto sa mga nagawa natin before. I was really amazed how God worked in this situation, for giving courage to the student to speak and initiate the correction while remaining humble. After this incident, slowly, I observed to my students that the barriers among them were removed, and they had an unforgettable school year. Peace always starts in us. Number 2, unite, do not divide. My mentor before always tells me, an act that divides is an evil act. Most of the time, kapag may nangyaring hindi pagkakaunawaan in a group or circle of friends, ang karaniwang eksena, each party will look for a person para maikwento nila ang pangyayari. Then at the end, ang nangyari, mapupunta sa kanila ang simpatsya ng taong pinagkwentuhan nila, na hindi man lamang napapakinggan ang other version ng story. In short, nagkakaroon ng kampihan. In the gospel, Jesus is telling us, if somebody offended us, talk to the person directly. Be brave enough to make the first step. But in the event that it did not work, look for someone who will help you to fix the relationship. Not a person who will help you upang ipagdiinan ang maling ginawa sa atin ng ating kapatid. What's the point? Stop seeking sympathy. Stop the cycle. Break the cycle that when somebody offended you, our initial reaction is to determine the people na pagkukwentuhan natin upang patunayan na ikaw ang tama at siya ang nagkamali. Look for people who will help you fix to rebuild the relationship. Huwag nating pagchismisan, bagkus pag-usapan natin how we can be of help to them. Hindi naman kasi ito issue kung sino ang tama at kung sino ang mali. This is not an argument. This is an issue of being a Christian. Kung tayo ay Kristiyano, our response should be to unite, not to divide. Noong bagong teacher pa lang ako, may isang teacher na lumapit sa akin at nag-share ng kanyang inis sa kanyang advisory class dahil sa numerous reports from the class and other subject teachers. The teacher asked me na tulungan ko siya na iparamdam sa mga students na dahil sa mga ginagawa nila sa kanilang mga subject teachers ay ayaw na silang pasukan. Sounds familiar, isn't it? Ganyan yung mga eksena natin sa eskwelahan. Dahil bago, I tried. But at the back of my mind, parang there's something wrong. There's something wrong dahil pakiramdam ko, wala naman akong problem sa klase. I just realized with this situation, in order for the relationship to work, you do not need to argue with the people kung saan patutunayan mo na ikaw ang tama. We need to discuss so we could make a solution out of the existing problem. Number 3, treat everyone with love. Bahala kayo dyan. Basta ako, okay. Iyan ang problem natin sa ngayon. Wala na tayong pakialam sa kung ano ang nangyayari sa ating paligid. Ang mahalaga para sa atin, okay tayo, payapa tayo, wala tayong sinasaktan at tinatapakang tao. Pero, natanong na ba natin? Kung wala tayong ginagawang masama, meron ba tayong ginagawang mabuti? Kung wala, ano ang pinagkaiba? Wala ring pagbabago, di ba? Let me tell you a story that I read in a magazine by Brother Bo Sanchez. One day, Catherine was going home. Suddenly, a man attacked her and stabbed her with his knife. When she screamed, the man ran away. In the incident, there were 38 people who were there around the area who heard the scream. When the man saw that no one came to help, he went back to the woman and finished her off. By the time the police came to apprehend the man, but the woman was dead. Where does our apathy come from? Why do we not go out of our way to help? Because something in our brain is telling us, it's none of my business. When Catherine was murdered, there were 38 people who were thinking that way. Am I responsible for Catherine? Dear students, you know what? After years of researching, the psychologists found out that no one among the 38 people who were there responded because they depended so much on what others were doing. In short, since no one was helping, the others didn't help too. If only at least one responded, Catherine might survive the incident. Love is courageous. Treating everyone with love is being courageous to initiate and dare to lead. To be a Christian is to lead in loving, not being safe and following always. The opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is indifference. Walang pakialam. Dear students, just like my song a while ago, tayong lahat ay may pananagutan sa isa't isa. Tayong lahat ay tinipon ng Diyos na kapiling niya. Our Sunday Gospel story is telling us God values relationships so much. And He wants us to value too. God's big messages to all of us: peace always starts in us. Unite, do not divide. And lastly, treat everyone with love. And these are the lessons of our gospel through our reflections. And this is RepLEKSYON. See you next week. Mabuhay!